The ultimate 3.2 V6 tarmac terrorizers, sleepers. This for me has got to be one of the greatest sleepers I have ever featured. Oh, bit of wheel spin in second! I have never seen a Daewoo Matiz modified to the standard of this one. It's insane to think what is lurking under the bonnet. So the story goes, obviously the gentleman who built this wanted to find the smallest car and put the biggest engine, and he has certainly done that. The company was called Power Crazy and they are based in Lincoln. It is this beautiful copper gold colour. It has these, what they classed as bonnet vents. These are stamped into the bonnet. I would have thought to let some heat out of the engine bay, because if you can imagine, say this is no more than half a metre, this is one of the tiniest engine bays and bonnets I have seen. But other than the wheels and the bonnet, everything looks relatively standard, which anyone who loves a sleeper, I beg them to find a better one than this. So where do I even begin with this? This is a 3.2 Vectra engine. They probably make around 210, 220 horsepower, but it's not about the power in this thing, it is about the physical size of this engine in this engine bay. Now looking at the engine package itself, it's on full custom engine mounts, because again, you ain't supposed to bolt one of these into a Daewoo Matiz. And then the big modification you can spot is this inlet manifold. Looks like they've chopped it on an angle to clear the bulkhead, tilted it down and then swooped it to the front and kept what looks like the factory airbox. Talking to the owner, when they go to shows, people always think it's a 3-cylinder and it is factory built. They don't see the rear head on the rear and realise it's a V6. The side profile of this car looks insane due to the size of these wheels. Now they're only 18-inch, but with the size of the body and the length, it just looks so magnified and makes it look so crazy from the side. Moving to the front, the package on the brakes are, it is on Focus RS discs with Evo 6 calipers, all custom made to fit. And I think you'll all agree, that side profile for a sleeper looks brilliant. So the interior just goes along the theme of being a sleeper build, because nothing's really been changed in here. It is as factory would bring a Daewoo Matiz. They were never meant to be sporty. They were never meant to have 210, 220 horsepower. They were just a small fuel economy, get around town car. So looking in here, it is basically a standard Daewoo Matiz. The only thing which is noticeable, which has been changed, it does have an Astra, I would say Mark IV gear stick, which obviously matches the engine swap. Everything seems to work on quick glance, the clocks, the gauges, everything seems to speak to the engine. Other than being super clean in here, there's not much to report for this sleeper of the Daewoo Matiz. So it wasn't a finished car when you saw it the first time?
It was like 90% finished. It was just a sort of thing, you know, because he got bored from doing Novas and Corsas back in the day, and he thought, what's the smallest car I can get and put the biggest engine in? And it happened to be this. He bought it from a one-lady owner for £80 at the time.
Why did this, you go, I want this Daewoo Matiz?
Because it was just fantastic. You know, having such a massive engine in such a tiny little car, it's just such a sweet little oddity.
Did you buy it like this? Have you done any modifications since then? Or is this how you got it from Paul?
The louver bonnets are new. The fabric interior was swapped because it was a little bit dated, and I had a Mark II that we sort of swapped over. It was just a case of bolt, switch in sort of thing. It's had new engine mounts, because it chewed its last ones up. Had an engine swap. It now has a lightened flywheel and a limited slip diff.
Is it a daily or is it just a show car?
It's just a show car for now, but we would like to do more with it, but obviously with it tearing its chassis leg recently, it's a bit fragile.
Okay.
It's been repaired, but it's sort of one of those things that if it happens again, that's it, no more Matiz.
Oh no.
Which is why we've got the Corsa for him to run around in. That's the race car, this is just the oddity.
This is the second car, which has now kind of developed into their kind of what they class as their race car, which they use and abuse. They have the Daewoo for more show. The reason being is the Daewoo's a bit more fragile, a bit more one-off, and they don't want to break it because with it being a total one-off, it cannot be replaced. So they've moved on to the Corsa C platform. Now the Corsa C platform is always the easier platform to put the V6 in. So this one is a 3.2 V6 Corsa C, which is in this stunning blue colour and is basically what looks like the base of a SRI, either a 1.4 or a 1.8. So looking at the body of this car, this Corsa C, it is, as you would expect it to be, a sleeper, just like the Daewoo. The SRIs came with colour-coded front bumpers, it came with these DTM style wing mirrors, and it has got what are like the angel eye front headlights. It has also got these Lenso 17-inch wheels with what looks like the SRI disc type back axle, and then it moves on to the front brake package, which is the same as the Daewoo, which is the Focus RS discs with the Mitsubishi Evo 4-pot calipers. It has this wonderful half leather interior, which some of the luxury models of Corsas came with. And then moving on to some other little details, what looks like the Ermischer colour-coded silver package inside, which is obviously handbrake, gear knob, steering wheel and centre console. These were relatively simple to convert into a V6 back in the day. Once you figured out the wiring side of them, that was always the Achilles heels of these, because you were putting the older style V6 engine in and you were trying to make it talk to the CAN bus on the newer style cars. Nothing has been over modified, and again it goes along with this theme of the two cars just being sleepers. So one thing I didn't pick up whilst inside the car is this fob, and this fob is for a Chinese exhaust flap. In essence, if you're going through a town, you want it quieter, or you fancy opening it up and having some fun, that's the button you press. Let's have a mess and let's see what it sounds like with it open, and let's see what it sounds like with it closed. That does make a big difference, doesn't it? To be fair, it does, doesn't it, that? When you put it like that, it makes a big difference. So both of these cars, as you can see, are installed with the 3.2 V6. So this one obviously being the inlet manifold from the Vectra setup, and this one being the early inlet manifold from like a Calibra kind of setup. So having them side by side is super interesting, because you can see the different designs, even though they are technically the same block and head, being the 3.2 from the Vectra or the Omega, the inlet manifolds, the look, but the sound, the performance is identical. These should be both around 210, 200, around that mark. 99% of people will put these on a standard management and wire them in and run a secondary ECU, one to control the engine, one to control the car, which I would guess that's what's done with this one. You would have the original ECU to talk to the car, lights, dash, all that type of thing, and then you'd have the separate ECU which just runs the engine. So it's very common for these cars to kind of have two ECUs when using the factory kind of setup, but this is on a custom ECU, and this was actually mapped to 253 horsepower. What can I say? This little Matiz should not sound like this. You could put me in a 600 horsepower RS3 and I think this would make me smile more. And that's what these cars are about. Just the happiness they bring. They don't have to be fast. They don't have to be anything special type of thing. They just have to make you feel good and have a joy. I'm in third gear, just putting along, and then as soon as you put your foot down, it goes. There's one thing I wouldn't like to crash in one of these things, because there is nothing to them. The torque! This little car should not be doing that. The torque's insane on this little thing. He just picks up and goes. The torque's instant on it. She pulls. Foot. Come on! My God. I think the reason why this works, this car, is such a torquey engine with such low weight. So the power's like, it's instant. There's no delay, because it's got to shove the weight, and I think that's what makes this car. Because I say that's fifth, and it's still throwing me back a little bit, you know, even though you're cruising along, and it still pulls. The torque and the weight, definitely for this build, definitely. Very impressed. And what's a shame is this thing's dying. No one's doing this no more. No one's thinking I'll take a little tiny car and throw big engines in it. Everyone just wants to get a remap or stage 2 and stage 3. Where's the excitement? Where's the enjoyable and the camaraderie of driving? Because this is definitely it. Like I say, it isn't the most fastest thing I've driven, but it makes you laugh. Oh, it's brilliant. He's brilliant. So on revs, let's have a bit of torque. Oh, bit of wheel spin in second. Oh. Yes, this is funny. This is really, really funny. This is hilarious. What a fun little car. Super impressed with this little thing. It works, it's nippy, it makes you smile, it's got all the noise, the V6 roar. Yeah, it's everything you want it to be, this. We came to see the Daewoo V6. We turned up and there is a Corsa V6. This is kind of what we're used to on the channel, but this one is another level. The size, the sound, just everything about this makes me laugh. You cannot get better than this. The smallest car with the biggest engine, this for me is the ultimate sleeper. Are these the ultimate V6 pair? Who knows? Put it in the comments. Please subscribe. This really helps us get out there to do more of this filming. Take care guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.